What it do? What it do? Look like we live.
What's up with y'all? It's J Jack and Jeff. Thawed Magazine, Thawed Sports Talk. Salute. Hope y'all having a good New Year's. Starting it off fresh.
For sure.
No doubt. What you do for it, Jeff? How you bring in the new year?
I'm getting old, man. I wish. Well, I ain't ashamed to say, man. Sure, I was asleep by 11, man. I slept right through it.
Oh, for
I slept right through it. I had to go to work in the morning, so I tried to last. I beat my wife though; she was sleeping for me. So
For real.
yeah, we crashed out. So no, wasn't no party or no ball watching or nothing. It's just we was knocked out, slept through it. I think I heard a few shots from the neighbors.
I feel you. I sure wanted to.
Man, shoot, maybe kind of peeked up for a second. Like, man, like what they got over there?
Yeah. I heard some. I thought the army and Taliban was going at it down the street or something.
Man, I swear my house shook, man. Like it's like a deep boom. Like,
Yeah.
that ain't no gun. Like, what is that?
Bro, that's what I'm talking about. They couldn't wait to let that go. They
Man,
waited a whole year to let that go.
something, man. They had to sneak that in the country or something, man. I don't know.
Yeah, that's wild. I'm trying to see. Well, let me see. Trying to go ahead and share it. Get some. Shared a couple to the Facebooks and all that.
Okay.
Yeah. Let me see. My internet on the computer ain't running well. Look like. Of course, it was running good, and then boom.
Right.
And my phone, I ain't even using the internet. Well, not that internet. I'm using my phone internet. Okay. I'm finna share it right quick. You get a chance?
Y'all out there, while he's sharing it on his page, anybody out there that's tuned in, appreciate y'all tuning in. Make sure you like the page. Follow the Thawed Magazine page on YouTube. Share it to your social media, whether you have IG, Facebook, Twitter, what have you. We'd appreciate it. Thank y'all for tuning in.
No doubt. That's 100. Yeah, appreciate any shares, any reads, any comments. Jeff, I'm gonna leave for 1 second. Go ahead and kick it to him about some things, and I'll pop right back in.
Okay, I got you.
All right.
Cool. What it do out there? What it do? Man, glad to be on with y'all, man. Want to say Happy New Year to everybody out there under the sound of our voice. Man, it's been a year for me personally, man. Had some major losses in the family. I know a lot of you have endured the same, man. Just want to say, glad that those of us who made it over, man. I'm thankful to be here. Thankful for you all being here with us. You know what I mean? Because hey, it could be worse, man. All of us, that are on this call, man, we got that wake up call from the big man upstairs, and I'm thankful. I pray that we all have a prosperous new year, man. Hopefully your families are healthy, and you know what I mean. Y'all are hanging in there, and when we get that wake up call, what I mean. God sees fit to wake us up. We get another chance to do it, to make it right, man. Like, none of us are perfect. You know what I mean? We all have our ups and downs, man. But when you get another chance to get it right, man, take advantage of that opportunity because tomorrow's not promised. Appreciate you guys being on. Hopefully, y'all kick it with us. We got some sports takes coming. Want to kick it with y'all. If you got anything that's on your mind, what's on your mind out there, man? If you got something on your mind, put it in our comments. You know what I mean? We love to see people put things in the comments, man, and don't hold back, man. Give us what you're thinking all the way. You know what I mean? This ain't PG right here. You know what I mean? We grown folk. We go all the way in. So you know what I mean. My Michigan fans that's out there, salute to y'all. Michigan State, y'all won y'all bowl game, man. Put something in the comments for us. I think Ohio State and Utah on right now. Ohio State kind of catching one right now. I ain't got no update, but I know they were down by 14 at the half. So, you got something to say about that game? Shoot us a comment. I think ND lost today, so you know what I mean. Hey, my boy said out there. My boy Rob Baxter, Rob Billow, all my ND fans, them Golden Domers, Jason Battle. You know what I mean? Shout out to you, Golden Domers. I know y'all feeling it a little bit. Y'all, I see y'all took a little L today too. So, hey, it's how it goes sometimes. Uh, you know, Next year, before you know it, next year will be coming. We'll be talking about, new recruits and who's back and all that good stuff. So, um, but like I said, man, appreciate y'all for tuning in. Um, if you're on, please like the page. Please share our stream. We appreciate all the support, man. Thanks so much for all y'all support, man. We couldn't do it without y'all, and this is why we here. We do it for y'all. Like this ain't nothing we get paid for. You know what I mean? We just on for the love of sports. You know what I mean? That's how our group started. You know what I mean? Sports Talk started purely out of love for sport and us kind of clowning on each other pages, man. And then we made it into a page so we can get off the main page. And man, you know, it's crazy to think, man. Over 10 years, it's been crazy, but it's been a fun
Man,
ride,
time flew too.
man.
A lot of moments.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
Hmm.
I definitely gotta say it got me through some tough times. Uh, I remember a couple of times I was in the house with no heat, no gas, or kerosene, and I'm study typing on there like it ain't nothing, promoting. And at the same time, every time I promote, I'm like going in the group, and it's like a battle going on. I'm like, I'm in it where I don't even think about what's going on in the world. You
That's
know
what
what I mean?
happens. You get
Yeah.
into the heat of the battle, man.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah.
sometimes you jump in there, you don't even know you in one. You just jump in there
Exactly.
and somebody pull you in one. So
It
next thing you
just
know, you're
grab
taking
you.
shots from all sides. Like where all this coming from? So
Yeah, yeah. That was definitely one of the best parts is that you can say just a comment you think ain't nobody gonna pay too much attention. Next thing you know, boom, 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 boom. Wait,
man,
what? Oh, hey, oh, it's on.
hey, it's the luck of the draw. You
And
catch the
then
right people online, they be ready.
yeah,
So
yeah, and that's one of the great things about it too is that we got so many people that represent their squads. Like we Michigan fan base in there deep, Michigan State fan base in there deep. We had a couple people from Georgia in there. Uh, I ain't even know who they was. I was thinking they Michigan fan. I'm about to go at them. But, Notre Dame in there rocking. Notre Dame fan base in there. Who else? You got Iowa. You got Andre repping Iowa.
mhm,
Uh, you got a couple fan bases that pop up here and there, but the main beefs is Michigan, Michigan State, Ohio State. Matter of fact, I forgot Ohio State base in there pretty thick. Um,
yeah,
it's,
for
it's,
sure.
it's
We got we
represented
got
pretty
we
well.
got some of everybody in there, man. I think we got a
Yeah,
couple Florida State fans in there. You know what I mean?
Virginia Tech was in there.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, and that's beauty thing. You want to see more of them come in, but it's good to see who we got in there. So the main entertainment basis is Michigan, Michigan State, and Ohio State, Michigan, Ohio State, Michigan State, um, Notre Dame.
right.
Notre Dame, since Robert Billow kind of, I don't know, I'm hoping he all right, but since he kind of not hasn't been on as much, the Notre Dame fan base, I guess, his speaker has said.
Yeah, yeah. You got Sid, you got Rob Baxter still, you got Jason Battle.
Yeah.
You got a couple more that they comment sometimes. It's like three or four more. So they got a decent representation up in there. You know what I mean? When they
Mm-hmm.
uh matter of fact, I seen somebody post today. he a regular. I can't remember his name right now, but he a domer too. But
Yeah,
yeah, they got
yeah, I
they
seen
got
him
a
in
few.
post. Yeah, I seen him post because they kind of I think he posted twice, and it was kind of weird the way he
Yeah,
put it. But the last line was about Notre Dame, and I think Dev had put a comment like I was gonna push like on there until I read that last line.
hey,
So yeah, that's what's up.
for sure, for
Yeah,
sure.
I remember that. I don't remember the name, but I remember that.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's
Yeah,
gonna come to me eventually,
you
but yeah,
yeah. So yeah, that's always the good entertainment value is that so many teams are represented. People holding down they teams. They playing we represent in that group as we are that team.
for sure, for
So
sure.
if you got a
Yep,
Michigan guy and me as a Michigan State guy, we repping our squads and we gonna talk it like we out there, and that's
for
part of the
sure,
fun of it.
for sure. Yep, that's how I go. We even got shout out to Lance Werper, USC fan. Yeah,
Oh yeah. Lance and Michigan State too.
yeah, yeah, yep, yep.
The only one that you really don't know about it, well, we know, but Ramen Kelly, my baby Ramen Kelly.
Oh man,
Yeah, yeah. He's an Ohio State fan, Michigan State alumnus. He was Iowa when they went against Michigan. I think he was Georgia last night.
yeah,
So you never know
right.
with him.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, but he always got some good humor though, so we take him as humor. You know,
right,
it's
right,
always funny.
for sure.
He'll never know what he gonna say. He might have a little conversation. He come in talking about some strippers or something.
Man,
Yeah, you been watching any of the bowl games?
man, here off and on. Peaked at the Notre Dame, Okie State. Um, was peaking at Utah, Ohio State a little bit. Um,
Yeah, I want to see who winning that game because I know Utah was giving them hell.
yeah, they last peak I had, Utah was up 14 at the half. Like yeah, it was like 35-21, I
Yeah,
think, at the half. I'm pretty sure they out of the half now, but uh, yeah, Utah was giving them the business. But it was an
yeah.
entertaining game too. Like they was going back and forth. You know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
shoot, I want to say in like 80 seconds there was like 4 touchdowns. It was
Yeah,
crazy.
four.
Yeah, it was like four
Damn.
touchdowns in 80 seconds. Like Ohio
Yeah,
State scored, then Utah had a kick return, 97 yards for a touchdown. Then Ohio State came back. It went back and forth.
damn.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
was
I
crazy.
seen that when Ritia posted that in there. I was doing something at the time. I was wondering who she was talking about because I seen that she put the 97-yard kickoff, and it was
Yeah,
Utah. Huh?
yeah, that was Utah. That right after, I think Ohio State had scored like a 50-yard touchdown, and
Damn.
it seemed like they was gaining some momentum, and then boom, right back. Like, so I imagine it's probably still going back and forth, man. So,
Yeah.
that's a good thing about matchups like that in the bowl season, man.
Oh yeah. Because that definitely I don't think was a conventional matchup, which I think committee probably was thinking about Utah and Ohio State. That ain't something that anybody would have like been like, oh yeah, watch the bowl game when they pick Utah to go against Ohio State.
Yeah,
and
I don't think it
I
was conventional. Uh,
yeah.
I I think Oregon dropped the ball. I think Rose Bowl wanted
Mm,
them. So but
yeah,
Utah beat
yeah.
them twice. So I mean, what can you do?
Exactly. You can't do nothing but let them in. Uh, Politics always plays a part, but if they play better, they're gonna try to save face. And they did this. I feel like they did because they knew it would have been an outrage or outroar if Utah didn't get into the Rose after doing that, after beating them twice.
Right? Yeah, it'd been way too obvious. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? I
too
think
obvious.
everybody knew they wanted Oregon, but it'd
Mm-hmm.
have been way too obvious. I mean,
Yeah, they wanted that
they
rematch.
destroyed Oregon twice. It wasn't like they just beat them. They
Destroyed them.
punched them basically twice. So
Damn. And see, they probably looking at the fact of Utah ain't that name brand name,
yeah,
uh, especially Oregon. But like I say, they gotta save face. It's football. You can't do that. It's gonna be Utah gonna act a fool.
Right. Right.
The fan base
Yep.
and the football fans gonna act a fool.
Right. Right. So
Yeah.
yeah,
So
hopefully that matchup continue to be exciting. Have to peek back at it and see if it be an
yeah.
exciting finish.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
Other than that, I peeked at Ohio, Notre Dame, Okie State, um,
Mm-hmm.
and that was kind of back and forth too. Like that was, I want to say that was like a 37-34 game.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and it might have been even more. It might have been like a 42-39. But it was up there, back and forth game.
Damn. Who I know we had a couple interesting games, including Michigan and Georgia, Alabama and Cincy. So I guess they got what everybody kind of figured was gonna happen was
For sure. Check
Bama
your
and
mic.
oh, can you hear me? You hear me?
Yeah, still buzzing.
Uh-oh. I don't know this. Yeah, I didn't hear it on the replay, but I don't know what's wrong. It might be these. I gotta grab some more. But
Yeah, it started. It's
yeah.
good now.
All right. It's probably because I'm reaching over there to the laptop. But
Okay.
Alabama and Georgia going back at it for a rematch of the finals.
Yep.
And for some odd reason, I just feel like Georgia going is written of Georgia making the how you say ultimate
Well,
redemption.
redeeming themselves. Yeah.
Yeah,
It seemed like it. It seemed like it. But we'll see. I mean, that was kind of the narrative going into the SEC championship game too.
yeah,
They kind of ticked Bama off. So
yeah.
they came out like, hey, we still Bama. So I imagine I would think the narrative will be a little different now. But if I
Yeah,
was them, I wouldn't want to give Saban anything
nah,
to rally his troops.
yeah,
They
cause
might want to be patting them on their back a little bit, like, yeah, that's Bama, they great. Just
yeah.
kind of
And you know
soften
he
them up a
gotta,
little bit.
he gotta still be using the respect factor thing too. So like, what I'm saying, everybody they all want us, and now they all figuring this gonna be and that's what I would tell my players. Hey, they figure this gonna be the class that's gonna let it up. This gonna be the Bama class that gives up the power or the prestige, and it's on y'all not to let it happen.
Right.
You know, because Georgia is coming. And I think Clemson will be back. They're not as good as a year, but I won't write Clemson off. They recruiting is still top notch.
Yeah, they ain't, yeah, they still gonna be up there. They recruit too good to not be. I think he just, I think Dabo just missed on quarterback this time.
Yeah, yeah.
He had Lawrence for all that time. You know what I mean? He got a little
Trevor
spoiled.
Lawrence.
So,
Yeah,
uh,
yeah,
you gotta
yeah.
you
That's
gotta find
true.
another one.
Oh yeah, yeah. So on that though, the semifinals, we'll touch on Michigan second, but the Cincinnati Bama game. What did you feel about that? The Cincy. Me myself, I'd like to see a closer game. But you do you think Cincy kind of how you say showed that they belong at least, even though they only scored 6 points?
A little bit, yeah. It went about as I expected. I mean, I expected them to hang around for a half and really make it
Mm-hmm.
competitive. You know what I mean? Which they did. They wasn't down that much at the half, but maybe a score.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, that's what I about figured they would show that. They would show well early, and then Bama would pull away late.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because Bama
Yeah.
don't. This particular year, Bama don't really run the ball that well.
Mm-hmm.
So, and the strength of Cincinnati's defense is their secondary. So I felt like they would, make it tough for them for a minute,
Yeah.
at least until they figured them out.
Yeah. And I think that's one of the main things. Like a team like Cincinnati, especially, that they the struggle with is the fact that Alabama can roll a top squad out for the first quarter and go all out. And when they bring their reserves in, they really ain't losing much. They got,
Right.
reserves that's gonna be probably starters and stars next year or the year after that's hungry right now. So when they get in, they going hard, like even harder. And since he has to go and look like if we take the starters out, that might be it for us. That depth. It's not just the talent wise, it's that depth of the talent.
Right. Right. Yeah. You know, but shout out to them, man. I mean, they made a game of it for a while.
Yeah.
Um, which about what you expect because you know, I did expect Bama to eventually stretch it out a little bit, which they did. You know,
Mm-hmm.
Bama
Yeah.
still Bama. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's still Bama. And I think what it was, 27-6.
Yeah.
Um, so I think they by not letting it get to 40 and 50 to 6, it looks a little more better, I would say. And it helps Cincinnati's in a couple of departments, especially recruiting wise,
Right.
to help get that talent for future references that they not only made the playoffs, but they didn't just bow down and just give up and
Right.
allow
Right.
50, 60 points to the Bama team.
Right. Right.
Yeah. So on the Michigan.
Okay.
On the Michigan. Uh when do you think the game got out of hand?
Uh, Shoot, probably almost immediately. I mean, they jumped out 14-0. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which I don't, I don't think, most people expect it,
Nah.
but um, you know, clearly they had a point to prove. So,
Mm-hmm.
that's something that you really can't measure. When you trying to break down a game, figure out how it's gonna go. Like, that's kind of that intangible that you don't really see until you see it.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you'd like to think that in a playoff game, like both teams would be high. You know what I mean? And maybe too high, and maybe they both make mistakes early, or they both kind of you know trying to shake some rust off or whatever. But clearly, you know what I mean. Um, they were motivated to
Yeah.
avenge themselves. They had to avenge themselves too because last time they played, they were
They
embarrassed.
lost. Yeah. Yeah.
So clearly they wanted to do better than that,
Yeah.
and
And I
they
and I
did.
and I think on top of that, I think all the players got experience, but I think college football playoff experience is even more valuable. The fact that, like, as you say, Georgia and Alabama is like constant. They know, they've been in there year after year almost. And it's like every year it's a different team, first time getting into the college football playoffs and going against, it seemed like Georgia, Alabama, where
Right,
they've been there left and right. Where another team is trying to like get used to first quarter, how the energy, and they already know, they done been there.
right, and that plays a factor. I mean, you'd like to think that you can play through that, but sure, you don't know until you know, and
Yeah.
you don't know until what it's gonna be. They try to simulate things in practice, but ain't
Mm-hmm.
nothing like when the lights come on.
Oh yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah.
and
True.
when the
Yeah.
lights come on, man, that's the only way you're gonna have that experience is being under those lights. So,
Yeah.
uh, I think that kind of played a part too. Like, you know what I mean? Like, uh, you like to think that you want to weather the first quarter, just kind of make it through that. But by the time the first quarter was, it was 14-0, like immediately. So
Yeah.
now you're behind the eight ball.
Yeah. And you can't get behind the eight ball against a Georgia like that. I don't think Georgia is as firepower as they used to be, or a year or so ago. I think them tight ends is probably they remind me of the New England Patriots uh when they had the tight ends Gronk, of course, and um my
Hernandez,
man's
Hernandez.
Hernandez, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Remind me of when they had that combo where the wide receivers was decent, but they was better than decent because you had to worry about the tight end so much.
right,
And them tight ends can run a fly right on you so quickly that if you got a linebacker on them, it's impossible to for them to guard. It's like they guarding a wide receiver.
right, right,
Yeah, so it opens up the game and so much, and then they tight ends are good blockers too. So, um, I mean, I think it was a couple factors in there. I think coaching wise too. I hate to always rag on Harbaugh, but I think he couldn't make up any value in the coaching of talent, the talent versus the coaching. He couldn't like you're gonna see some teams that talent wise they don't have that talent of a team, but
yeah,
coaching wise they can make up for it.
right,
It was none of that. I mean, I've seen a couple plays and I'm looking like that running back throw, which the players got to make plays. You got to get that end in there. There's no way that running backs should toss and run and have so long to make it look like he's finna run and then just pull and throw. So player wise, you have to too. But it's like coaching wise, there was no how can you say it's like they didn't see it coming. They was blindsided. It was like they never seen. I don't know if Georgia pulls that play out a lot. It might be just that they don't play it a lot, do it a lot. But the safety and the cornerback, it seemed like it was unprepared, and it wasn't a bad play. I take some of it back that it wasn't a bad player wise because when I watched it, the cornerback he got beat.
yeah,
He got
yeah,
beat, but the safety didn't give him any help. The safety, and again, it comes to players too because the defensive ends on that side were held up. It was no outside contain. The guys didn't get. He never should have been able to hold the ball and run that long, and then just say, "Oh no, I'm a woo," because
right.
it's some plays where you got a quick running back pass. This wasn't a quick running back pass. It was a stalled running back, like he was really running, like, and then say, "Oh," and it's like, wait a minute.
Yeah,
That was one play signified it, and I think another one to me was uh the fourth at the end. It was kind of more at the end of the game. That fourth down pass was ridiculous. I
yeah,
think they threw a back behind behind the line pass on
yeah.
4th and 1 or something. It was the goal line.
Right, right.
It was
Yeah,
like
they
it's like by the time it got to the end of the game, it's like the coaches was just panicking too.
yeah. I mean, man, they just made a lot of plays, man. You know, that's probably the theme that kept jumping out for me is just very motivated, and they made it happen, man. Um,
Yeah, they made
Can't
it
do nothing
happen.
but respect it.
Man, it was major props to Georgia for what they did. You know, uh, I just feel like either they did a great job of scouting because anything Michigan had, they took away.
Yep.
Uh, they knew the running backs. They wasn't no running lanes, which they got some defensive tackles that are beasts.
Yeah.
Um, wide receivers, Michigan. I was putting in sports talk though. They didn't respect the Michigan wide receivers, which I don't understand why Andrell Anthony wasn't getting more time. They put him in like he got more throws to him in the fourth quarter, which he got that touchdown. But I feel like talent, even though he's a freshman, I feel like talent wise, he probably above a lot of them wide receivers that was out there for Michigan.
Yeah.
Uh-uh.
Well, I agree with that as well. Yeah. And I've been kind of, as a Michigan fan, just kind of, ringing that bell all year. Like, uh, outside of Bell, and Bell went down early in the year. Like
Yeah,
he was the best, wide receiver on the roster. Um, and once Bell went down, I mean, at some point you got to find a way to feature him.
Yeah,
Um, and once they got him in the game, I mean, he got his first real action versus Michigan State. And, you know what I mean? He pretty much balled out. So
and it's
yeah,
kind of like
it's
you
been a
didn't see
head
him after
scratcher.
that. It's like
Yeah.
you didn't see much of him after that.
Not much. I mean, he made some plays. Penn State game, a couple others, but not as much as it should have been. Like when you got players like that, you got to find a way to get them in the game. Like,
Got to
you
get
got
him
to find a way
involved.
to got to get him some touches. I mean, I
Yeah,
don't care if you give him a 3-yard hitch and see what he can do with it. Just you got to give him the ball.
yeah,
Um, so um,
yeah. I
so that's
agree.
probably my criticism of the offensive staff. Uh, you gotta put your players in better position to make some plays. So, something
Yeah,
ain't working. You got to do something else.
yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Got to, and then that game kind of signified because I think I think it coaching wise, and I hate to harbor on the coaching, but I think coaching wise, they came in with a plan. And I think the plan was to run on Georgia. And once, you kind of mess up at the beginning. I think strategy wise, I don't fault them on the strategy wise of when they won the toss, giving the ball to Georgia to start the game. But when you think of a Georgia type team, I don't think you want to give them the ball first. You
Right,
don't want them to warm up. You know what I'm
right.
saying? And they scored 7 right off the top. Once they got the ball, it's like, oh shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
you get the
I
ball in the
I
second
feel the same
half,
way.
but yeah, you get the ball in the second half, but I think you don't want it to be over in the first. So you might want to take that ball and try to set a tone.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it wasn't real. I knew that they would try to run. Wasn't necessarily thrilled with that. I just, I don't know. I think in a game like that, when you know that you're dealing with a a great defense, um, you just got to do something else. Can't be stubborn. Like to
Yeah,
me, that game, to me, that should have been a pass game to set up the run. You know what I mean? Go the other way.
there
Like
you go.
try to, they're too good. So you got to try to do some different things. You got to try to move them around. You got to do some things to make the linebackers move and fight or something. And to me, you try to spread them out. Uh, you try to, just do some different things. Like you ain't gonna, you know, just see what they got. Like, if you running a bunch of, two tight end, what I mean, that ain't, what I mean, that's
Yeah,
kind of predictable for them. Like, they
yeah,
just
it
gonna
is
they gonna
predictable.
man up for that, and they're just gonna play it how they play it. But
Yeah,
you got to do
I
something different. Like Bama, didn't try to run. You know what I mean? Like Bama was like, okay, we gonna spread y'all out. We got a quarterback. You know what I mean?
yeah,
He gonna make the play, or he gonna make the play with his legs. He gonna, what I mean? We gonna go away from what we normally do because
exactly.
we
And
got to.
I would have liked to see them do that, even if they go 4 wide and a tight end, because I think all the tight end all is capable and
Yeah,
had a good game to where they could have utilized him more
yeah,
in that threat of having 4 wide, or even if you're running the running backs out, you got them going everywhere, and then
right,
all of a sudden, once they get into running all over the field, using some of their energy, then maybe you can pound them,
right,
you know,
right.
change up the tone.
Yeah, but
But once you
again,
get
hey,
down 7-zip, once you get down 7-zip, and you get the ball, and you got to either punt or I forgot. I think they punted on that down. I don't know if they punted. Something happened. I forgot what happened.
yeah,
Georgia
I
got
think
the
they
ball
punted.
back.
Yeah,
Yeah, they
they got.
punted.
Yeah, I think they punted.
Yeah.
And then
Then Georgia
they
gets
go.
the ball back and scores again. Now you're in trouble because their defense is already motivated and hyped up now. The offense is rolling. and I just didn't see it a game changing type of offensive player, you know, for Michigan that can, except for the freshman Andrell, that I felt like he could have made a game changing type of play, to switch the momentum back.
Yeah. And even with I think you could use a Henning, you could use you know, I think that they have some players that could do something.
Yeah.
I don't think the mentality of what they were trying to do was going to produce that type of result. Like once you go down 14, whatever plan I had is out the window.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's
That
like,
goes back
I
to
know
what I
we
was
wanted to
originally
come
saying.
in and run, and you know what I mean, maybe set up the pass, or
Yeah.
do a play action or something. We down 14-0 now. Like
Everything
now,
out the
I got
window.
to go to the other stuff.
Yeah, everything
I
went out
gotta
the
spread them
window.
out. Okay, we going for a wide now. I might go to JJ now. You know what I mean? Let me get some read option in here. I got to do something else. I got to
Yeah,
do something else. Uh,
exactly. And
so
that kind of go back to what I was talking about as far as the coin toss. If you got a game plan, you want to get the game toss and execute your game plan. If you want to run, that's the time to do it. You control the clock and let them know, hey, this what it's finna be for the
right,
day. And I think they gave Georgia the chance to set the tone to say, hey, this what it's gonna be. And that's when you say, okay, once they score that touchdown, your game plan kind of gets shaky. It's like, oh shoot, we want to run it, but we can't go uh fourth and one now and give them the ball back. So you kind of panicking on your decisions a little bit.
right, right,
Yeah. So I think that was the first kind of the first kind of game change. Not mistake, because myself, I like the option to kick it and let me get the ball the second half. If confidently I feel like I'm going, my defense gonna shut you down.
right,
If I feel like, yeah, you know what I'm saying, where I know if it's 14-14 by the halftime, I know we getting the ball to get a chance to score.
right,
But it's kind of hard if you playing a team like Georgia to give them the ball and say, we don't believe you can do anything.
right.
Yeah, yeah. I guess we
Well,
got a spammer up in here or something.
I ain't even seeing that.
Yeah, we got a
Oh,
spammer.
man.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
wow,
You know what I'm saying? It's so many characters, bro. Well, I wonder if he grown.
man. Hey,
Yeah, they swear they be killing or hurting people with those kind of comments, man. But we ain't doing nothing on no
right.
comments. We appreciate you tuning in, though. Hey, but what you think as far as that game? As far as um, you think it helps or hurt next year? It gotta help. But I tell you from experience with Michigan State, it kind of was like a hard blow to take. So to come back from mentally, um, what you think that? How you think it affects Michigan? How you think it's going to affect Michigan?
I think it's it'll be a positive thing. Um, I think you know, um, I think it's one of them things where it was a measuring stick game. It's like, okay, we got here. Like, what is it like to be here? Like, what kind of level do you need to be on to be here and to actually be successful here? And I think they've seen it. You know what I mean?
I'm trying to take that out. Trying
Yeah.
to delete that, but my bad.
Oh, he's fine. Yeah, it was a measuring stick game. It's like they came, they saw. Uh, you see what level you got to be on to win one of these games.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
and so now I think you take that into spring. I think this me personally, and I put this in sports talk earlier. Um, I think this is the moment where I think K gets that firm handshake. Like, thank you for You know what I mean? Leading us this year. You know what I mean? Like, hey, he was the upperclassman leader. You know what I mean? Him and Hutchinson, and you
So
know,
I mean
uh,
to cut you off, but what is Cade? Is it a senior?
uh, I think technically he's a junior,
Yeah.
but he has two. Uh, he has two. I think he is a senior, but he has 2 years left of eligibility. So he has
Mm.
2 years to go
With that
somewhere.
COVID. Yeah.
And that's what I think is going to happen. I think he's going to get that firm handshake.
So you
So I think
think? Hold on. So you think he finna enter the transfer portal?
no, yeah, I think so. I 'cause I think he'll want to play.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. Maybe he'll surprise me and stay, but I think they're gonna go with McCarthy. You know what I
Mm.
mean? I that's what I think. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
could be wrong, but that's what I think because I think once you see what level you got to be in that type of game, it's
Mm.
McCarthy that's gonna be the guy that takes us to that next level. Like Cade is solid. Cade led us all year. Like I have no complaints really. But I know that Cade has that. He has the ceiling
Yeah.
and he's at it. Like
Mm.
Cade ain't gonna be the one that throws for 350 and 4 touchdowns. It ain't
But
gonna
but
happen.
but that's kind of interesting. I don't disagree with it, but I think they would be a big mistake because he do got college football playoff experience now. I also think if you look at Georgia, I don't know if Georgia, if their quarterback was a walk on at one point, I think it was, I forgot.
Yep.
But yeah, he's not a 5-star superstar type quarterback, so that wasn't where Georgia had the advantage at over Michigan. If anything, that's one advantage that Michigan had probably over Georgia's quarter. I mean Georgia, because he's a solid game manager. He's not an NFL quarterback, not a starter at least. He's gonna get a chance, definitely. But he's not a guy that can make every throw. He's a guy that can throw deep passes with a little too much air on it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He's a guy that ain't gonna zip it in them tight windows. And I think that's one reason why you didn't see Georgia's wide receivers being real, like, I don't want to say dominant this year, but wouldn't really standoutish because they didn't have the type of quarterback like, you know what I'm saying, Georgia done had, like when Stafford was there or something.
Right.
So I don't think Michigan, I don't think Cade, you know, that's why I say I'm just pointing that I think that would be a mistake if Harbaugh does that. Uh, and team morale wise, I would think that it would hurt team morale wise, but I do agree with you that that's probably what he wants to do. But I think it would be a mistake in that Cade has that playoff experience, um, leadership. He got another year to grow. Um, if anything, JJ would have to push him out to me, but that's the interesting dynamic is would they want to make sure JJ don't enter the transfer portal.
Right. I think what you're gonna, you know, e- even if he sticks around for the spring, I think what I mean the ascension that JJ is on, he's gonna push him out anyway.
But do you
So
think
why go
do you
through a spring with this team? You know what I mean? Where you can kind of get a head start on trying to find somewhere else to go. I mean, but who's to say that he leaves? He might
yeah,
see it as okay. You know what I mean? Because we did play with two quarterbacks this year. He may see that you one snap away from playing again because
yeah,
it's a different game plan with JJ in the game. They're gonna do more read option. They're gonna use his legs more. He's gonna get outside the pocket, and that
yeah,
type of quarterback. They get hit a little bit more. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah, true.
he may see it like, okay, you know what I mean? He may beat me out and win the job, but he might get hurt and I'll be right back in. You know what I mean? Or they may still see uh, benefit of playing two quarterbacks. Like maybe
Yeah.
they swap them and JJ is the starter and he's the change of pace. You know what I mean? Like you never
Mhm.
know.
I think
Um,
I think it would be interesting. It kind of remind me of the solid game changing type quarterback Brady against the talent Henson. It kind of remind me of when y'all had that problem, good type of problem. That where the potential was Henson, where he was supposed to be that guy that started the man. You know what I'm saying? But you had a solid game managing quarterback that didn't feel like that was the guy. And I think not to compare Cade to Brady, I just feel like that's kind of in a situation um, to where I think it could be to me a mistake if Cade ain't starting next year. Um, because I feel like I mean I ain't got nothing to do with no personnel changes or anything, but I think it would be a mistake to sit Cade behind JJ unless JJ just grows and just beats him out. Not just because you know potential wise, you feel like they might get there. Because I like I said, Georgia didn't have an advantage over Michigan in quarterback, and that was the one spot that they didn't have out of all the spots they didn't have an advantage over Michigan there. Um, I would just me myself, I would hate that for the kid. I would hate that for Cade. Matter of fact, to lead your team to the college football playoffs, and then politics that's kind of like in a politic way that it with JJ a 5-star supposed to be that guy. He's a McCarthy. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna play a factor into it, but that just I don't know, bro. That's kind of like it's hard to say for that because I feel you and I agree with you, and I'm hoping that it don't happen. And I'm not even a
And it
Michigan
may not
fan,
happen that way. Maybe you know what I mean.
but
I
I
do
believe you.
think
I
JJ is
believe
going to
you.
beat him out. I, maybe they do the coaching thing where you kind of manage it and you let it kind of play out on the
Yeah,
field. So maybe you know what I mean. Maybe they go through spring, both of them on the roster, and
yeah,
you know what I mean. If they and if it's clear, you know what I mean, that JJ's the guy, then maybe you'll see it at that point. You know what I mean?
yeah.
It might not be immediately. It may not be here in this next month that you see
Mm,
Cade transfer. Maybe he waits it out.
mm,
They go to the spring, go through a whole spring, and you know what I mean, battle it out there and see what happens.
yeah,
And but for me, I just if you really you look at this game was that like you
mm,
see to me I think that's the reason why they didn't change their game plan because that's not Cade's strength.
yeah,
They felt handcuffed to not do it. You know what I mean? Like they couldn't go, really go four wide and try to get him to wing it because that's just not his strength.
yeah,
And that's where JJ is going. That's his. You know what I mean? He's nowhere near his ceiling.
yeah.
Like
True.
Cade's at his.
Yeah. I mean, I can see it though. I can see it, but I'm hoping it's on the field that he passing and not politic wise. That, but for y'all, for Michigan fans' sake, at least, you know what I'm saying? Because I think it would be some Michigan fans kind of like, what the hell going on? You got your fans screaming for McCarthy, of course, but you got some of your fans saying, "Hey, man, Cade ain't do nothing wrong. He led us to the playoffs. He won the Big Ten championship. We ain't never been to the, you know what I'm saying? It's hard when you got them politics coming on both sides of a McCarthy, of potential wise, but you got, you know what I'm saying? You got results on Cade's side. The fact that
So
this the first year y'all got to the Big Ten championship and won it. It's the first
right,
year y'all got to the college football playoffs and you know what I'm saying, had a game where it was a game, but you got there. And the guy
right,
that was at the quarterback spot was Cade. So now next year that would be a dynamic if Harbaugh did go with that decision, or somehow say, hey, McCarthy beat him out. Maybe he do. You know what I'm saying? And then all of a sudden you don't have that same type of year. Now you're gonna have Michigan fans screaming, "Hey, what you shouldn't have did that." Now Cade and left us and went to another team, another school, and we ain't getting the results, but we got the potential.
right. Yeah,
You know?
that's that delicate balance. I mean, that's ultimately the call they're gonna have to make. Um,
Yeah.
and I could see Harbaugh. You know, um, Harbaugh don't change quarterbacks quickly. He tend to stick with a guy a little extra. So there's no guarantee. It's just my opinion that I think he should go with JJ, but it would be, I don't think, to
But
any
but
Michigan
I don't
fan
I think
surprise if he goes and sticks with
yeah,
Cade.
but but see, that's what exactly what you said. Would nobody be surprised if that do happen? So I guess that's I know I don't guess I figure say because I mean truthfully, there's a lot of Michigan fans been calling for McCarthy since probably the beginning.
Yeah,
Uh, you know what I'm saying? So it wouldn't surprise. I don't think anybody would be surprised that scenario plays out exactly like you're talking about. I think it would create some problems though. That's the thing is that the problems that I think it could create if say you don't have the same type of year this year. Maybe if Cade was there, you still wouldn't have it. You don't know. But if Cade is transferring or he doesn't, coming off the bench and they don't have it, then they're gonna say, hey, you know, why'd you do that? When a lot of the fans probably were screaming for it, and then if the results don't come, now they hindsighting and saying, oh, you shouldn't have did that, but you forget you were screaming for it.
right, right. Well, you got a lot of that this year.
Yeah,
Like, think game one, you know what I mean? Game two, game three, you know what I mean?
he
Like,
been always screaming
offense
for
was
it.
struggling. Well, passing. We were running the
Yeah,
ball very well, you know what I mean? But we weren't passing that well. And people were like, get Cade out of there. Get Cade out of there. Like, what's going on? Like
yeah,
we need JJ. He can actually make those throws that he keep missing. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So you had that a lot of the year
yeah,
anyway.
yeah.
So it that's just fandom. I think he won't
Mm-hmm.
win the fandom battle, no matter
Nah,
which way it
nah,
go. It'll
nah. He
it'll
won't
always
win that.
be, as they say, the backup is always a favorite. So
Yeah, of course, especially when it's a
he's
five-star
supposed to
backup.
be in. Like,
Yeah,
you take
especially
him
when it's a
out and
five
put the
star.
other guy in, and then he be like, man, get
Yeah,
the backup back in. Like, he'll never win that.
no, he
So
won't.
I think best thing he can do, and it may just go that way. Who's to say that Cade don't stay and actually battle in fall camp? He might.
Yeah,
If it's too close to call in spring, hey, now we going to fall.
yeah.
So, yeah,
No, that's gonna be like you say though. That's gonna be an interesting dynamic scenario or storyline to watch. The quarterback storyline with Michigan. Like I say, I put on a post not too long yesterday that Cade deserved a lot more respect for the wide receivers that he had out there because I ain't see nobody except Andrew Anthony that you know uh, and I could be wrong. It might be where you put J. McCarthy in, and now all the wide receivers are shining. You know, so but for Michigan to go to the Big Ten and win it, I ain't no hater. We battle all the time, so they did get there. Cade led them there, and they won resounding against Iowa. One beat them pretty good and got them to the playoffs. So you know, I don't think Cade's still gonna get no respect for that. you know, it's still JJ Carr because I think even and then you look at it, JJ it's stats wise, JJ had a better game second half, which as a football fan, same thing, and I look at it and say, well, it was the end of the game, and you know, the same fact, and this is where I think coaching wise, and tell me if I'm wrong, but if I was Michigan, that game, I would have put Cade on the bench to start the
I would
game.
have too.
Yeah,
That's
because
probably the biggest thing uh, that I felt like, now is your chance
now was your chance.
to go to JJ and just see what he got
Yeah.
because you already got punched in the mouth.
Well,
Uh,
I'm talking about before the punch. I mean, if I was getting ready after you just beat Iowa, if I'm coaching, my thought plan is they game planning for Cade. they ain't seen JJ like, you know what I'm saying? So look, K, I'm gonna have a talk with K. Look, K, this for the betterment of the team. You ain't lost no spot. You still the guy right now. For you know what I'm saying? You're the guy. But right now you gotta ride with us that they not planning for JJ. And what I mean by that is two different quarterbacks, like what we talked about before. And you seen that early when I think Cade took off and ran, I think it was the first, second play of the game. And you see Georgia, you see how Georgia game playing for them. You know what I'm saying? They sent they sent their two defensive tackles and two defensive ends on a just a regular rush. And they dropped everybody back. 7 people straight back. Linebackers, cornerbacks, and they dropped back. And Cade dropped back, saw he had nothing, and took off running and had the whole middle of the field wide open and ran for like 12, 14 yards. That showed you right there. They watched Cade. They knew we're not even worried about you. And that's the first series for Michigan, which that's when I say that if I was Harbaugh, that first series would have been JJ. Now you do that when I got JJ in there. You drop everybody back, and I'm gonna tell JJ run on your ass every time
Right.
until you change it up. And once you change it up, I'm gonna have JJ throw some passes, and then I'm gonna bring Cade in there. Now you already kind of like, oh, damn, they done switched up, and damn, our whole game plan gone. And then boom, now I'm gonna throw Cade back in there. Oh, see, now we got to go back and do like we now. That's how I figure. If you was gonna set a tone, or you was gonna go against the grain, which in a playoff game like that, you got to go against the grain. They done studied you. They done watch your film. They done seen how you beat the teams. They had it like when the last game was against Iowa. They had like 2 weeks to watch you.
Yeah. Probably
You know what I'm
really
saying?
a whole month because
Yeah,
the
really almost a
last.
whole month.
Yeah.
And all they was watching probably was Cade. They watching his tendencies. They watching what he do. They knowing he ain't gonna run. Take away this lane. Take away, and you change that first series. It take away all that months of preparation. You know what I'm saying? And Michigan didn't do that. Where they just went in there, they stick with their game plan, and Georgia did what they did. Drop people back, put him. Now they doing everything where Cade is like, oh, and the coaches is like, we still gonna stick with our game plan. Cade, you gonna no, you can't. They done took all that away. So now you
Right.
wait third, fourth quarter. Now we're gonna put JJ in. And yeah, he having a better game. Why? They never prepared for him.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
And but not only that, but it just again for me, like he just has a different skill set and
Yeah.
certain throws that what I mean. And Cade mentally isn't going to throw certain throws. He's not that type of quarterback that's going to take many chances.
You got the Jared
Whereas
Goff
you got
syndrome.
JJ, he gonna take some chances.
Yeah, you got the Jared Goff syndrome.
Yeah, he just check down, no, check down, check down, check down, and that's what
Yeah.
a lot of Michigan fans are frustrated with, like because he would check down, like, and I've watched all year, like he's kind of missed the second level throws, like don't even see them,
Yeah.
whereas JJ sees them. Or JJ's even looking for him. Like Cade at a point where he's not even looking for him. So, what I mean? It's good and bad in that. You know what I mean? Like he's checking down so he ain't making no mistakes. You know what I
So
mean?
indeed.
Uh
He that's the ultimate game manager.
yeah,
He rather get the 2 or 3 yards than to wildly throw an interception or put you where you 3rd and 10 and even get a yard.
yeah.
So
But you know what I mean? That's to me, once you get to this level, like you gotta be willing to go for that big play. You
nah.
have to because you know what I mean, they gonna do it. Um, you know, that's what defines these games.
Yeah, oh
It's a
yeah.
big play.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
you got to be willing to you got to be willing to throw it. Like you've
Yeah.
seen not comparing JJ to him, but you've seen a Lawrence. You know, he made the big play. Like
Mm-hmm.
he used his leg to buy some more time, make the big play downfield. Like you got to be willing to do it.
Yeah.
Like, and
Yeah, you gotta let it
he
all
won some
go.
championships. He lost some. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Ohio State beat him pretty bad. You know what I mean? Like, and he was still trying to make the big play. You know what I mean? Like, you got to
Yeah.
be able to, because you got to score it. Once you get to this level, you know what I mean? You ain't finna win no 13-10 game. Like, you gonna have to make some plays.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
And but that to me, I mean, I look at it like the offense and defense got to be they coexist.
yeah,
So when you change up like that, I think K fit more into this year's Michigan team. Well, next year might be totally different. Well, I feel like he didn't put the defense in bad positions. You know
yeah,
what I mean? Uh, when you got a defense that can be dominant, you know, like Michigan was most of this year, except probably the last game, and even against Michigan, they was pretty dominant for except for against the runner Kenneth Walker. But when you get a defense like that, and we've seen that plenty of times, you think Baltimore Ravens with Trent Dilfer, you
yeah,
know what I'm saying? Where if you got a gunslinger quarterback, you got to think like a Green Bay back in the days where you seen Brett Favre slinging it all over the place, and a lot of times putting his defense in a bad position, you know. And sometimes it worked out well where they was all clicking at the same time. When you add McCarthy in there, you got to be able to not put the defense in a bad position. You know, he might put up 30, but if you put your defense in a bad position where they give up 35, you know what I'm saying? It ain't equaling out. It ain't equal. Even if the potential is there for the quarterback. I think if McCarthy comes in, and we seen that with Stafford, the same thing, back in the days. When Stafford was a true gunslinger, we'd be like, God damn it, Stafford. Sometimes, and then sometimes you're like, yeah. But then you see the defense and it's like, damn, our defense can't stop nobody. And here we go, we back and forth, giving it up. And, you defense is getting pushed every time they get in the offense is getting the possession, they getting closer to starting at the 50-yard line. You know what I'm
right,
saying? Every time we punt from the end zone, damn near. And
right,
so you giving up field position, but you slinging that joker every chance you get. But if you don't got everything clicking, it kind of messed the dynamic up. And that's what JJ McCarthy would have to come in and be mentally a veteran to not just be like, I'm gonna sling this joker. But think about, I can't put my defense in a bad position. I can't throw an interception right here. I can't, fumble it because I'm trying to get superstar run. Um, and that's going to be the interesting dynamic when JJ does get that shot. How would he coexist with the defense? Would they still have that dominance, or would they kind of be put in a bad position where now they don't look dominant? They the same, but they not put in good positions.
right, right. Yeah, and that's part of developing a quarterback. Like what I mean, just learning how to play complementary football, situational football,
Yeah,
uh, and that's also how an offensive coordinator can manage you as well. Like I'm gonna call something.
yeah,
I'm gonna call something that what I mean. That's gonna be a little conservative in certain situations. So you ain't
yeah,
slinging it. Like
yeah,
you ain't slinging
yeah.
it when I'm telling you to turn around and hand the ball off.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. Hand it off, get us them
or
5
I'm
more
calling a
yards so we can
screen.
punt it.
You know what I mean? Uh,
Yeah,
ain't no downfield pass. So, I think it all kind of works together. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
we already know with Harbaugh, like it ain't. He ain't. He ain't Lane Kiffin. You know what I mean? So
hmm,
it ain't finna be, just slinging, slinging, slinging anyway. Like
yeah, exactly.
if he had his way, he'd run the ball 30, 35 times.
Yeah, he
So
still, yeah, definitely. He is old school with it. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. But we talked about college football playoffs. Um, before we sign off, we're gonna talk about. the impact and the legacy of John Madden. He passed a couple of days ago. I forgot the actual day. But I think everybody, when it's kind of a funny situation too. I'll say, like, just to introduce like that's the topic. My kids, they love the Madden game. I think we love all kids, especially young boys, love Madden, playing Madden.
Yep.
And I think my wife was telling my son, John Madden just died. He was like, huh? Who's that? What you mean? She was like, John Madden. He was like, huh? You play his game, the Madden football. He like, oh. He's like, like he don't know John Madden like that, but he know the game.
Right.
We had to not convince him, but tell him, why you playing the game.
Right.
Who was able for you to play the game? What it's based on? You know what I'm saying? His name, how the iconic Madden is without even the iconic part of him coaching, just the game part of it.
Right.
You know.
Yeah. Long history with old John, man. I know our kids don't realize that.
Yeah.
Them games started with us. You know what I mean? I had that game on Sega Genesis. You know what I mean? So, I
Yeah.
want to say the first one was in. I want to say either 89 or 90. I think.
Yeah, it was back then. Yeah, 'cause I
Yeah.
think at that time, Montana, they was competing with Montana game.
Yeah. Yeah. Matter of
Yeah,
fact, I want to say it's 80. I think the first one was 88. I think it was Madden 88 was
yeah, I
the
think I
first
was
one.
like, yeah, we about 13, 14 in that range.
Yeah.
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 I remember late night staying up, man. It was lovely, you know what I'm saying? Because you had been playing games that was like little people blocks.
Right. Right.
So
So
when
to
they
actually
changed,
have some realism in the game, you know what I mean? Actual teams, you know what I mean? Crowds and different it was worlds different from Tecmo Bowl. You know what I
oh
mean?
yeah,
So
world's different. World's different. And you know what's crazy about it is I think Madden is even more responsible. Now I might be wrong, or if probably a gamer ever checked this out, he can tell me if I'm wrong. But I think Madden had more to do with the overall gameplay.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Of all games. Cause then you got boxing and you got all of them was like more realer, more
yeah,
people. And it kind of started like with the Madden games or the football where they was trying to make you even see the sweat dripping off their faces. You
yeah,
know what I'm saying? Where now you're getting shooter Call of Duty games where you can actually see the person. You know what I'm saying? And these things are but I think that all kind of was starting back when Madden came out.
yeah. That was the beginning of the EA Sports era. You know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah,
in the game.
it's in the
So
game. Yeah, yeah,
it's where everything changed. The football games, the basketball games, the baseball games. You know what I mean? The
mm-hmm.
MLBs. That's where it all changed, and it started with him and his
Yep.
signature.
You hear the squeaking of the door? Yeah, it started with
Yeah,
him.
yeah,
I definitely agree. Like I say, I don't know the history of it as far as that. I know I've been a gamer since probably 8 or 9, and I've seen a lot of games from the games where you just have a two little sticks and you got to bounce the ball.
yeah, yeah,
Or
yeah.
the
We came
little
from that
target.
era. The Atari era, you know what I mean, the ColecoVision era. You know what I mean, where you didn't really have a bunch of graphics. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? It was really really analog. You know what I mean? So
exactly. And we
to,
was
to
happy.
go,
We was satisfied, but it
oh
was
man, we love them games.
yeah.
I love them games, man.
Yeah. Yeah,
Uh,
we love them games.
Shoot,
We're playing.
mother, I
I'll
was,
play it right now.
couldn't hardly play them. Well, we could, but so your
Yeah.
mama wouldn't let you put it on her big TV. Like, mess up my TV, putting that game on my TV. So,
Yep.
like,
Same thing. You
man, I
couldn't,
wanted to play it on the color TV. Nope.
man. Back then, you had to sit that little TV on top of the flow model.
That's it. That's it.
You ain't playing it on the flow model. You wait till they go to
Nah,
sleep.
mess up my TV with that game.
Yeah. As soon as they go to sleep, I'm
Oh man,
connected.
shoot.
Yeah.
Had to get it in. Well, mama's at work or wherever, you know what I mean? Church, wherever.
Yeah.
Uh, they had to get it in. So you had to get it off of there quick. You hear somebody pull up in the driveway.
Man. Yeah. We can say that we ain't getting no whoopings now. Yeah, that was a good time. So, rest in peace, John Madden, man, true legend, icon. Like I say, and a legend and icon, and not just football wise. The football players shouldn't be just celebrating them. Gamers should definitely be celebrating them because, man, Madden was like, bro, when you can go in there and play the fantasy league. You
Oh
can go
man.
and draft players, and I remember back in the days, and like I say, I don't know if this was the first, but I think it was when you can take Madden, and back then you can go and get the college game, and you had the the little thing to save them on,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
you can go on that college game, and you can develop your player, or you can play with these guys,
Yeah.
and you take them and you put them in Madden, and now you can draft them, so you can interchange with games.
Yeah.
That was like the start then too. I didn't see nothing before that where you can take one game and you can combine and take that into the next one.
Nah, you know, there was no, memory card until then.
Yeah,
So, only thing that was even somewhat close was on Nintendo. Certain games you could have a code, you know what I mean, that you could put in to continue where you were.
yeah.
But there was no real memory. Like, games in
Memory
our day, you
cards.
played them, and if you turned it off, it was off. You know what I mean? Like, you ain't, you had to start off with over. So,
Exactly. So that kicked off a lot of stuff. Like I say, man, gamers should really celebrating too. I mean, I
yeah,
like I say,
and people that watch football should celebrate him because he was groundbreaking and innovative. As an announcer, like
oh
the
yeah,
things
yeah.
he would do and say, the telestrator and boom and whack and so the
He was
things
real animated.
how he described the game, you know what I mean,
He
was
brought it to life.
revolutionary.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I can say so many facets he touched, like you said, football, announcing, the gamer world. One man changed the game in a lot of different facets. So can't do nothing but salute that. Like, man, you know, you think about it, like, what if he didn't do what he did? What if he was just a plant worker or working at a retail like myself?
Right, right,
Would we be playing Madden? Uh, would we be watching announcers being so animated? You
right,
know what I'm saying? Would we see coaches? Because he was like literally the Bob Knight version also of NFL. Like, you
right.
don't know what he might do when he on the sideline.
Yep.
you know,
Yeah. So it's pioneer across the board.
yeah, yeah. So salute to John Madden. Much respect on that. Definitely. But we gonna go ahead and end this live. Uh, we appreciate anybody that's gonna watch, that's been watching, that's gonna check us out in the future. Uh, Salute. We appreciate it. Whatever you do, shares, likes, comments, anything you do, we appreciate it. We do this out of love, like Jeff was telling y'all earlier. It's the truth, it's the fact, and none of us getting paid. But we plan on trying to change that. You know what I'm saying? We plan on trying to change that. And the reason we plan on trying to change that is because we want to be able to give the people more content. Um, we want to be able to be up there where the other or mainstream magazines are. It's going to take a lot of fight. It's going to take a lot of push, and I'm willing to push. I know Jeff willing to push. Um, we coming out with lives. We got sports talk. We got artist feature. Independent Jeff coming soon. We plan on doing music videos. We got a couple more we thinking about. We gonna get in the lab and try to think of some. But that's on top of magazines, 48-page magazines. That's on top of planning on hopefully this year. This when you set your goals of doing our own shows, giving the artists a chance to perform. I want to buy a building in the South. And we working on that. Thawed Media and Capital is planning on doing more things. It's Thawed Magazine, but Thawed Media and Capital is the LLC. That's the umbrella. So that got more things going on. Planning on dropping books. We plan on doing more things. I know Jeff got some things in the making. We trying to create and try to help creatives. So we
So
appreciate y'all.
appreciate y'all, man. Thanks for everybody for tuning in. Appreciate all the support, man. Uh, those of you who will watch this later, man, hit that comment section, man. Throw some stuff in there for us. You know what I mean? We'll probably address it on the next live when we come back on next Saturday. And of course, sports goes on, so we'll be talking about some more sports, whatever's hot at the time, whatever relevant at the time. We'll kick it about that, and we hope to see y'all on. And we appreciate your support.
No doubt. Much love from Thawed Magazine to you. Salute. Happy New Year. And we'll see you next time. Much love.
All right.
All right.
Yes, sir.